Welcome everyone to the second day of People Development and Environment. Uh, Dr. Shreya Tripathi, I welcome our resource person. She has she has qualified her UGC NET, NSET and holds a PhD from Durg University. Dr. Tripathi completed her MCom in Business Management from Narsi Monji, Mumbai, and her BMS in Management Studies from KPB Hinduja College of Commerce. With over 5 years of experience in both academia and professional training, Dr. Tripathi has developed a strong passion for management, experiential learning, communication, and soft skills. She has contributed to the academic community with chapters, case studies, and research papers published in national and international journals and presented at conferences. She has served as a resource person at numerous workshops and training sessions, sharing her insights and expertise with professionals and academics alike. So welcome, dear participants, and welcome, Dr. Shreya. I hand over the session to you.
Thank you so much, Dara ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Learning People, Development and Environment. Before we move ahead, we will quickly do a recap to what we have learned yesterday. Just share my screen again. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yesterday we had started with basic. The first topic which we had started is what is environment. So anything which surround us, we cater it to be environment, which we can segregate in two parts, that is biotic factors and abiotic factors. Biotech may always remember the world called as living things, right? And in abiotic factors, we will remember non-living things. So if we try to segregate these things, so we had understood that any kind of when we are talking about living things, right, decomposers, producers, that we will be categorizing in biotic components that live with the natures and biosphere, and any kind of abiotic components are non-living objects such as light, water, temperature. Try to remember with this particular image, right? Post to it in biotic factors, we have further seen how we can divide this into three major parts, that is producers, consumers and decomposers. You may be well versed with these words, in junior classes in your school we have studied these concepts. So producers, we also call them as autophobes, which prepare their own food. So producer, may please remember this particular keyword, that they prepare their own food. Post to that, we have talked about photoautophores, wherein we are talking about green plants and green algae, which are using sunlight as an energy to produce their own food. And then we were talking about chemoautographs, wherein chemical agents are being used by various microorganisms to make their food, right? Post to it, we have talked upon consumer, wherein we have highlighted three parts: herbivorous, which eat plants, carnivorous, which are dependent on flesh-eating animals, and omnivorous, which is a combination of both these things. They eat plant also and they eat meat or flesh also. Okay, and then we have further process towards sustainability part. So sustainable, if I use the word in a very generic layman language, it talks upon using the resources wisely and judicially, so that resources can be left for upcoming future generations also, right? So if we see here in black, meeting the need of present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In the similar context, in Geo Summit 1992 happened, wherein we will be talking upon, right? So sustainability, we are catering into three parts: the society transformation, transition, environment transition, and economical transition, right? Then we have talked upon why do we need sustainability, because our resources are limited in nature, and there's a constant climate change going on, and there is over exploitation of the natural resources around us, right? And then post to that, we have focused upon millennial development goals. So here you have to remember 8 goals 191 UN members have come together to achieve it till 2015. So yesterday's class in detail, we have discussed upon what are the various kinds of goal, right? So here we are talking about reducing the poverty, achieving of the universal education, primary education, promoting gender equality and women empowerment, reduce in the child mortality and improvement of maternal health, right? And how we can combat major diseases such as HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis, and further with environmental sustainability and partnership for development. Now here we have talked upon factors such as availability of internet, we have talked upon the accessibility of the technologies to everyone, right? Then we had talked upon is the sustainable development goal, SDG. So all the various goals were not able to fulfill, so we came up with sustainable development goal. Please remember the timeline for the same thing, that is 2015 to 2030. So we are already in the pipeline for it. We are already in transition. Here 193 members of all nations, they have come together, and the agenda was 2030. And here, if we look into holistically, we are being talking upon. So these are the 17 goals which we are talking upon. If we wish, we can divide into three parts, such as society, economy, and environment, right? So it is a holistic wherein we are talking about the society upliftment, also how we can make sure that we can increase the economic growth with the help of GDP and everything. So that was being looked upon. And then we had talked upon the basic, we had tried to compare millennial development goals and sustainable development goal. So if you try to remember this particular table, it will be very easy for you to crack, because again, sustainable development goals especially becomes one of the important topic in previous years. If we take a lot many questions have been asked, maybe it can be when it was commenced, when are we expecting it to end, how many goals as specific, right? So all those 17, but at least get the majority of part. That is why I've given you this particular figure, wherein it will be easy for you that okay, six points we have to remember in society, and if you remember, so it will be easy for you to recall in the examination. Okay. Post to it, we had started with pollution. So pollution, again, when we talk in a very generic form, pollution is any kind of harmful substances which we are mixing with the environment, right? It can be in any form. We had talked yesterday like solid, liquid, or gas, or any change it has been, and these factors we call as pollutants, right? So here when we are talking about various types of pollution, it can be air, water, soil, light, noise, thermal, and radioactive. And then we had talked upon biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. Biodegradable again is eco-friendly, but again gets it's very easy to recycle and reuse. We will remember the example of the kitchen waste, the food waste, right? Paper, wood, that is easy for us to recycle. And then non-biodegradable, it is a kind of a synthetic material. Again, it cannot be very much broken down into smaller pieces, not that eco-friendly. So plastics, glass, synthetic material can be the example of it. Air pollution, then we had talked upon various kinds of gas, especially we had segregated these few common pollutants such as carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, particulate matter, lead, volatile organic components, and ground level ozone. For this also, I have prepared this particular table, which again would be helpful for you, that which type of gas, what is the major source where it is coming and how it can affect. So directly or indirectly, yesterday we have done lot many practice question also. So you have seen some direct and some indirect questions were being asked from this particular. So make sure that you are clear, right? Whether this particular gas would be coming or this pollutant is for in terms of vehicles, or yesterday we talked upon chlorofluorocarbons, wherein the main focus is with respect to refrigerator and the gas which comes out from our air conditioners, right? So Here we have to be really sure regarding all these types of air pollutants and what is the source and basic health effect what it can lead to, right? Again, it can be which is directly related to respiratory organs or something, so we have to remember. Similarly, we had talked upon the government initiatives being done from National Air Quality Index. Yesterday we have seen this question from Delhi NCR, right? So again, what can be the probability why this particular air pollution is happening? Causes can be there. Similarly, we had seen questions regarding smog, right? Smog is again a kind of an intense air pollution. So here with the diagrammatic representation, you can remember smog. Smog again, two particular pollutants you'll remember: hydrocarbons and nitric oxide. These combine together and it is turned into smog, right? Okay, to reduce that, we had studied smog towers and anti-smog guns, and then we had talked upon water pollution. Again, what can be the basic health problem? This question, what I've observed, is usually asked in match the following, right? Any kind of, we have discussed regarding Minimata disease also. Again, you have to relate that with water pollution, right? Post to it, we had talked upon noise pollution. So again, here we had studied regarding the sound is always measured in decibel. So any increase of noise. So here we are saying basic in daytime, WHO has prescribed it. Within indoors, it should be 30 decibel. And when we are talking about optimum noise level per day, 45 decibel, and at night, maximum 35 decibel is which it has been expected, right? And ideal, which is being given by WHO. Other than that, we had seen the basic what is noise pollution, the various sources, and how it can impact, hypertension. We have talked upon sleep deprivation, disturbance. Last topic, I guess, which we discussed before winding up was different kinds of waste: solid waste, e-waste, right? Electronic waste. Again, it is very difficult for us to recycle those things, right? So again, the Central Pollution Control Body takes a survey and try to manage, especially in the top cities, metro cities, how these waste are being increasing. And then we had segregated through this beautiful classification which is being done: urban, industrial, and biochemical. Yesterday we had seen example also how municipal solid waste, how we can segregate that particular thing, and there may be indirect questions being asked from that. Okay. Similarly, this particular table gives us a nutshell, right? What are the various kinds of wastes which we can segregate? Again, what is the source and the basic example? Okay, to reduce this, we have waste minimization circles, right? Today, we will be talking on more about the various kinds of natural resources, right? A few of it which we have already discussed. And we will be also talking about disasters. It can be basic from cyclone to volcano to tsunami, right? We will be having a gist upon it, and then we will move towards international agreements such as Rio Summit, Kyoto Protocol. We'll talk upon the biodiversity and International Solar Alliance. So we'll try to cover at maximum as possible in today's session. Okay, one of the topic which we had left yesterday was regarding soil pollution. Okay. In soil pollution, whenever we are talking, again, any kind of, when we are talking irregularities or any kind of harmful, whenever it is mixing up with that soil, it leads to soil pollution. Now, again, the sources which can be segregated from agricultural to atmospheric sources to industrial and urban areas, lot of emissions by electric power plants and transport and mining and melting, right? And accidental contamination, again, oil spillage can be an option of any kind of poisonous gas which is being mixed can result in soil pollution also, right? Similarly, we can see the effect can be again human. It can have a negative or adverse effect on human, or soil fertility can reduce, right? And it can be a threat for biodiversity also. Now, when we talk upon after effects of soil pollution on human beings, especially when we're talking about in short term, now short term can be anything ranging from 3 to 6 months or lesser than a year. It can be basic as headache or nausea or coughing, right? And fatigue or weakness. And long term again can be depression or somewhere or the other. It can lead to damage of nervous system also, right? Here are a few of the pollution legislations in India. I'll request you if you can write it down. Indian Forest Act was given in 1927. Wildlife Protection Act was given 1972. The Water Prevention and Control of Pollution 1974. The Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981, followed by the Environmental Protection Act, which is one of the major topic here in your people development, 1986, right? And National Environmental Tribunal Act, that is 1995. So these are, other than that, the basic, when is Earth Day celebrated, Environment Day celebrated, HIV AIDS, right? Regarding that, all those date also try to recall. Many a time it may come in match the following, right? They may give you certain date and year, and here the acts would be mentioned. So again, if you are really, yesterday we had talked upon elimination method. I'm very sure short that Environmental Protection Act is 1986. So I'll try, okay, this is matching. So somewhere in elimination, maybe it will be a very good probability for us to land up on the right answer. Okay. Let's start with the next topic called disaster. I'll request other participants to please keep their mic on mute. Thank you. I hope you can see my screen. We are on the disaster page.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Disaster page sounds wrong, but yeah, we are on the slide of disaster. Okay. In a very generic sense, what do you think? What does disaster means? Disaster. According to you, what does disaster mean? Anyone would like to give it a
Unexpected
try?
accident, madam.
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat?
Unexpected accidents
Unexpected
calamity.
accidents. Okay, that can be there.
Or calamity.
Or any kind
Natural,
of calamity. Okay.
natural calamity.
Chaos, ma'am. Chaos, ma'am. Chaos.
Sorry.
Destruction.
Chaos.
Destruction. Yes. Okay.
Chaos.
Climate change.
Okay. Anyone, any other thing? When we say disaster, as human beings, we have this tendency of, whenever I say disaster, you may be thinking of earthquake, all this image which I've put on left hand side, one or the other image, you may be thinking of cyclone, you may be, whatever you have experienced, maybe a particular image will come. You can see a volcanic eruption also, right? When we are talking upon disasters, again, it is a serious disruption of the functioning of a community or a society involving widespread human, material, economic, or environmental losses and impact, which exceeds the ability of the affected community and society to cope up using their own resources, right? So here the terminology which we will try to recall is serious disruption which is affecting the community, right? For the same context, we have Disaster Management Act 2005. Now, I will request you, whenever you all are preparing for people, environment, and development, please make one particular section, wherever you all are making notes, please make one particular section wherein you are only writing these acts and year. Okay, and try to write it either latest to or the other way around, right? So whichever is the latest, or when you see here, when we just discussed, right, I started from 1927 until 1995, oldest to latest. So similarly, start writing this whenever, in whichever notes which you're studying. If you are solving any previous year question paper, maybe some other act has been mentioned, soil protection or something or the other, start writing it down. So again, whenever you're revising, as many more times you're looking at it, it will be easier for you to recall. Okay. So Disaster Management Act of 2005, which described disaster as a catastrophic mishap, calamity, or grave occurrence in any area arising from natural or man-made causes, sorry, or by accident or negligence, which results in life or human suffering or damage too, and this is leading to damage and degradation of environment, right? And here we are also will remember the affected area. So we have to remember here's any kind of catastrophic mishap, any kind of calamity which is happening. Second major important thing which you need to remember is either we can segregate this in two parts. First is a natural disaster and second is man-made disasters. We'll see the segregation of the same thing, or it can be by accident or negligence. Now, if you remember Bhopal gas tragedy, do you remember that? Anyone? Recently, we had this web series also on it, Railway Man.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that will be also catering into disaster. Now, again, if you have seen that, or if you have heard the news or you have read something, it is again can be man-made, or we can talk about the negligence which has been done, right? Now, here insufficient capacity or measures to reduce or cope up with potential negative consequences, right? So here also in the above yellow mark, you can see the society or the community to cope up using there, it's very difficult, right? Similarly, disaster impacts everyone differently. We can have at individual level also, again, emotional trauma, mental and physical infrastructure, as we can see currently we were seeing a lot of news about landslides being happening, right? So again, physical infrastructure has been damaged, human infrastructural damage can be there, right? Governance, again, the loss of services, admin, that can be also there, and social and economic disruption can be there. Again, if I quoted down the Bhopal gas study, it was years together until now they say the children which are being born, they still have some or the other adverse effect is still being seen. And again, environmental degradation currently we can see in Arunachal Pradesh also, right? So somewhere or the other, this can be the leading cause for it, right? Now, again, here the major one which I would like to quote is earthquake, flood, volcanic eruptions. We have drought, tsunami, hurricanes, right? Thunderstorm, landslide, heat wave. Currently, we are in summer right now, so that can be a reason. Now, as I said, disasters we will segregate into, classified into two parts. First is the natural disaster. Again, this is non-controllable. We cannot control it to a larger extent. And then we have man-made disaster. Now, when we are talking about natural disasters, we have such as earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes, drought, right? Again, this is, if you remember, act of God. Again, the mother nature is doing it. And when we are talking about different types of man-made disasters, it can be industrial accident, chemical spills are there, oil spills can be there, it can be structural failure. Recently, I guess it was news of Mumbai, a metro pillar altogether got was broken down of a particular area. I don't remember it, but I guess Thane or somewhere it was there, right? So structural damage can be there. Recently, we have come across this terrorist attack, right? Mass gathering or stampedes are also there, right? Lower Parade stampede, I guess, was something very prominent and had long-lasting effect, right? Oil spillage, as I said, urban fires can be there, environmental pollution. Yesterday, we had talked upon it, the various kinds of debris, human waste, e-waste, which we have talked upon, and transportation accidents can again be there, such as plane crash. So this will be catering into man-made disaster, and this is natural disaster. So I'll request you to at least remember a few of the names which would be easy for you, handy, in case relevant questions are being asked, to segregate between them. Okay. Now, if we are trying to classify the natural disaster, we can do it on the basis of geological disasters, now again caused by earth, when we are segregating, such as earthquake, volcanoes, tsunamis, and landslides. Again, we can have it meteorologically when we are talking about the climatic condition, which can be again cyclone, tornadoes, we have heat waves and cold waves, and then water moment, hydrological disaster. We can have floods, flash floods, and drought. Now, again, drought can be because of scarcity of water, but again, water moment is something which is prevailing in this, right? Similarly, we can have biological disaster also, living organisms such as pandemics. We have recently seen COVID-19, right? Epidemics and space-related disaster, right? Solar flares or anything, right? Post to it, when we are talking upon earthquake, I'll move this ahead. Okay. In context with earthquake, this is a general question which is being asked. Are the various kinds of semantic zone, right? Now, this zone, whenever we are talking upon, is are divided into zone 2, 3, 4, and 5 in India. Right, this is something, this through this particular table there are a lot many questions being asked in terms of earthquake. So zone factor here you will remember, especially low risk zone when we are talking about peninsular India, Bangalore, Hyderabad. Very high risk, you remember, and many times we hear a lot many news from Northeast, Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, parts of Bihar and Gujarat. Okay, when we're talking about the Surat belt. Similarly, high risk may we have Delhi. Delhi, we hear it very often. Jammu, Bihar, Haryana, and parts of West Bengal. Similarly, moderate zone may we have Mumbai, Kolkata, parts of Punjab, Kerala, and Andaman. Right. So here I will request you all to remember the various zone level 2, 3, 4, and 5, and similarly the earthquake risk level, whether it is more, it is high, right? Now similarly, whenever we are talking about the seismic zones also, that can again be further divided more, but I guess for now this much data is sufficient for you all, right? When we are talking upon earthquake, uh, this is basically focusing on, there is an earth movement which is been happening and there's sudden release of an energy, right? And it can be very tectonic activities in the earth crust that has been leading to earthquake, right? For the same thing, we have National Geophysical Laboratory, which takes in part Department of Meteorology, which is recently being formed by National Institute of Disaster Management, right? And it has currently seen more than 1,200 earthquake. And whenever we are talking about these disasters, right, anything which we have seen in either natural or man-made, please try to remember the recent, at least last 5 year data, right? Any recent volcano eruption which has happened, any earthquake, no, or at least tsunami, what was the name of the tsunami? So general questions can also be asked, like GK, general knowledge questions can also be asked in terms of people development and uh, environment. I hope you'll have understood. Shall we proceed? Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Other thing can be drought. Now, again, drought, whenever we are talking upon primary reasons why policymaker resource and this scarcity of water in a particular region, which we can call as deficits, right? Deficits caused by the variation in natural hydrometeorological factors are leading to drought. Uh, Again, the reason can be increasing in the frequency due to climate change. Now, suddenly we are facing rainy season at summer season. Again, summer may be very prolonged. So this particular region can be cater into drought situation. Now again, droughts affect vast areas of the country. The third of the country is drought prone. Now here, majority the drought situation. I request other participants to please keep the meeting. Drought situation, we usually talk in terms of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, part of MP, UP, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Andhra Pradesh. Now, again, we consider is at creeping disaster. Again, as yesterday we saw, there is no starting period and there is no end period, right? So we cannot just decide that, okay, drought is starting from today and it will be ending in next 2 days or 2 months or 2 years. So again, it is very difficult to decide the end of the same thing. Severity, we don't know what will be the impact of the same thing, right? So impact depends on natural conditions, socio-economic situations, and the kind of land and water resources we are having. Now, for the same thing, when we are talking about the mitigation measures, how we can reduce that, we have due to water and food shortage, droughts result from long period of dry weather, insufficient precipitation, that is rainfall, which occur acute dry conditions. So that is the reason we are facing drought scenario. Now, again, the National Commission on Agriculture in India defines 3 types of droughts, specifically meteorological drought, agricultural drought, hydrological drought, right? Meteorological drought, in this particular situation, there is more than 25% decrease from long-term average precipitation over a period of time, right? So you can remember here, meteorological more than 25%, you can just write with a dash, more than 25% decrease. And agricultural, here we are talking upon the soil moisture, rainfall is inadequate, and as we are using the term agriculture, so somewhere or the other it is adversely affecting our food crops, right? So that is why. Next is hydrological. So whenever we are using the word hydrological, we can directly connect that to water resources. Now, again, prolonged meteorological drought manifested in depletion of surface and subsurface water resources, which occur when the rainfall is normal if there has been substantial reduction in the surface water holding capacity. And the last one talks upon ecological drop. Natural ecosystems fails, and due to shortage of water, the consequences again can be damage to the overall ecosystem as such. So here you can remember these 3 to 4 basic of it, right? There can be direct, indirect questions being asked in this context. See, whenever we are talking upon people development and environment, here the question can be very generic also, and this part can be very scoring, right? But again, if they might be asking data with respect to exact year, exact percentage, in that case it would be difficult to answer. But otherwise, I feel somewhere or the other it would be easy for you. And other thing what they focus is, whenever we are giving UGC net, is they don't want you to mug up at this thing as such, because they would be asking a very conceptual question. Okay, we have read all the context, but are you able to see the application part of the same thing? Now, if this particular situation is being given somewhere or the other, if we are talking about food crops, so directly we can relate to agricultural drought, or they may be giving all these stances. If there is a decrease in water level, or when there is decrease in the soil moisture, so what can be the probable outcome of the same thing? Now, again, drought can be a relatable answer or a very near answer for it. Okay, now IMD recognizes 5 different drought situation, such as drought week, when the weekly rainfall is less than half of the normal, we call it as a drought week. We have agricultural drought, when 4 drought weeks occur consecutively during mid-June to September, we call it agricultural drought. Seasonal drought is there, when we are focusing on the deficiency in rainfall, seasonal rainfall by more than the standard deviation of the normal, which was supposed to happen. And drought year, 20% or reduce in the normal, so that they may ask directly or indirectly, what is the tentative percentage when we declare it as a drought year? So our answer would be somewhere around 20-25, right? So if we just remember 20 figure mate was something, so we can end up choosing for the nearby option for the same thing. And when we are saying severe drought here, so it is 25 to 40% of the norm. So you can remember that way. Again, as we saw here, we just mentioned meteorological rainfall, temperature, soil. We are saying availability of the water content directly, indirectly. It will be hampering our food crops, right? Ground level, again, availability or all these boring and all that would be affected. Crop and socioeconomic condition. Now, again, people would not be able to make that much money. Crops would not be there. They would not be able to sell that, right? So somewhere or the other, it would affect the weaker section of the society more, or people who have farm holding, high size of farm holdings that can be affected. Then in drought prone areas, remember these three topics which we say is extreme drought affected area, which we just discussed. Areas of Rajasthan, Gujarat. In Gujarat, we say, borderline Kutch majority. So other areas includes districts like Jaisalmer, Barmar from Indian desert that receive less than 90 average annual rainfall. Then we have severe drought prone. We parts of eastern Rajasthan, we have talked upon Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and southern parts. And then we have moderate affected, again, parts of Gujarat, UP, Maharashtra, Jharkhand, Coimbatore, right? Again, these areas would not be prominent, but extreme, always remember Rajasthan and parts of Gujarat. Kutch is the main region wherein we are having extreme drought conditions, right? So extreme may be one of the potential questions to be asked, right? We have seen the consequences can be, say, for example, crop failures or shortage of water or a migration of human and livestock, right? Uh, Next type of disaster which will focus is on volcano. Now, volcano eruption, you would have heard basic lava flow when we are talking ashfall, leher, hot or cold measure of eastern material flowing, right? So again, it's a geological event near opening vent of Earth's surface, right? Extreme hot gases, ash that occurs, right? Again, you can remember 100 degrees Celsius that rapidly flow in volcanic any kind of recent event which has happened. Remember that, okay, leave some space wherever you are making notes. Any kind of recent activities which you have heard in 2020 and above, or something in recent or major event which has happened, try to remember that, right, with year when it happened and what was the name, if any name was being given by the government. Similarly, when we are talking about tsunami is increase in the Semitic sea wave, which is happening, right? Crust may be 100 kilometers or more, and which we talk upon is displacement in the sea floor caused by earthquake, landslide, and volcanic activities, right? Most tsunamis, including the most destructive ones, are generally by large and shallow earthquakes, and we are talking upon vertical displacement over large area of the ocean surface. So in tsunami, you can remember this particular word, vertical displacement over large area, uh, which is being affected, right? And tsunami again is derived from a Japanese word and which means harbor wave. Okay. Similarly, here, the waves could travel from the triggering source and speed exceeding 800 kilometer per hour over a period of long distance. And here we can again remember some of the calamities. 2024 of Andaman and Nicobar Island over here is one of the major events which has happened in last few years. So again, similarly, relatable few of the names. Remember what was the name of the tsunami again if it was given anything. Similarly, when we are talking about flood situation, so flood is again condition of inundation of land and human settlement by the rise of water, right? With flood, we will always remember the rise of the water and the spillover in general. Here again, it can be segregated into two parts: biodegradable waste products, which are degraded by microbial actions such as sea waste, and non-biodegradable pollutions. So again, we have studied that same as being repetitive. right? So pollutants which are not decomposed by microbial action. Next in line, we have landslides. What do you mean by landslide? Anyone? Landslide? What do you mean by landslide? Have you heard this term before? Anyone? Landslide? What?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. It's like large part of land falls down. It's like avalanche.
Okay. Okay. Any other different answer? I am getting through message. Sliding of upper crust of earth. Yes, correct. Anyone else would like to give the answer?
And downward
And
movement of
Mhm.
rocks and rocks, especially in hills.
Okay, fair enough. Anyone else would like to add?
Ma'am, it is slip of land.
Mm-hmm. Okay, when we are talking upon landslides, as you all have rightly said, we are talking upon mass movements of hill slopes and as well as earth crust, as you said, in a downward or an upward movement, wherein it can again be by forming materials such as rock, Himalaya, northern East India, Nilgiris, Eastern Ghats, and Western Ghats. And it is estimated that around 30% of the world's landslide occur in Himalaya. So this is a fact, and I request you all to please recall this, right? Make sure that you remember this particular figure. So majority of the landslides are expected in Himalayan region, around 30%. Similarly, scientific observation has been seen in Sikkim and Garhwal regions in the Himalayas, clearly revealed that there's an average of 2 slides per square kilometers. So here we are talking in facts and figures. Economic loss due to landslides may reach up to 1 to 2% of gross national product, and 80% of reported fatalities due to landslide is within the developing countries, right? And in India, about 0.42 million square kilometer or 12.6% of land area excluding snow covered area is prone to landslide, right? So as we just mentioned, landslide, which we remember any kind of upward and downward movement in especially the hilly region, or when we are talking about the crust, right? And we'll remember Himalayas is having the majority of 30% of total landslides in India, followed by Darjeeling, Sikkim, Northwest Himalayas, that is Uttarakhand, Himachal, Jammu and Kashmir, and Western Ghats and Kongan Hills. So these are the specific areas. As I said, drought may remember Rajasthan, Kutch, all these area. Similarly, in landslide, try to remember these North Sikkim and Garhwal region, maybe that may be asked in the exams, right? For this, we have National Landslide Risk Management Strategy, right? National Disaster Management Authority, that is NDMA, and National Landslide Risk Management Strategy. Now, all these abbreviation also are asked in the examination. So please make sure you are making again one particular section each subject wise, right? If it is research or teaching or this particular, or when we are talking about education also, which we'll be talking in next class. So try to make one abbreviation, right? Again, it can be generic also, and something which you may try to predict may not be 100% right? So make sure that you are writing. So every time you're revising through it, every time you see it, it will be easy for you to remember that. Okay. Now here we are focusing on awareness programs, how we can make sure that the training procedures can be done, various stakeholders which are involved. Okay. The next topic which we'll discuss is regarding the Kaito protocol. Now again, this is a particular topic which has usually we see a minimum one question coming from this particular area. So we'll try to understand this particular topic in a very simple layman language, easy for you to recall. Conference of Parties, Kaito was signed on 3rd COP. We will talking about COP, Conference of Parties also, in Kaito, Japan in 1997. So first we will remember Kaito is a city in Japan. So we'll remember Kaito is in Japan, 1997. It was being signed. The protocol came in effect from 2005, and there were 192 member countries. Major polluting countries like US never signed the protocol, and Canada withdrew it in 2012. And it is an international treaty which extends in 1992 Union National Framework Convention and climate change that commits state parties to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Now, whenever you are writing Kaito protocol, Kaito, Japan, 1997, remember UNFCCC, and remember we are focusing more on reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Anywhere you are finding this word, we will directly relate greenhouse emission will directly relate it to Kaito protocol. Now again, it's an international agreement linked with national United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which commits its parties by settling internationally binding emission reduction targets, right? As I said, Japan 1992, India has ratified Kyoto Protocol in 2002, and it came into force in February 2005. In this slide we saw it came into effect 2005 and it was signed in 1997. One major reason, again, USA have never ratified this particular thing, and here we are focusing on reducing the greenhouse gas effect emissions we are trying to reduce. And Kyoto Protocol aims to cut emissions of greenhouse gases across the developed world about 5% by 2012 compared with 1990 levels, and the principles of common but differential, again, binding limits of greenhouse effects emissions. Now, this particular, the first commitment period of Kyoto ended in 2012. That was from 2008 to 2012. Post to that, they have second commitment period called as the Doha Amendment at the Kyoto Protocol, right? So here, there is one of the tables which we describe, right, divides Kyoto protocols. We divide into different kind of annexures: annexure 1, annexure 2, annexure B, and non-annexure countries, non-binding targets, low-income groups. But here annexure 1 talks upon the developed countries which were participating, US, UK, Russia, etc. And developed countries have provide financial assistance here. Right now, here it gives a brief introduction about the various annexures which are there in Kyoto Protocol. Similarly, it also talks upon carbon credit, right? Carbon credit, if I talk in a very general sense, are each and every country are being given a certain amount of carbon emissions which can be traded if the full allowance is not used. Now let's see this slide. Credits here, whenever we are talking, we say rupees 12,000 has been credited in your account. Now credit here we are trying to say in terms of money, right? It has been come to your particular account. So similarly here, what they are being talking is 1 carbon credit equals to 1 ton of carbon dioxide. So they buy these credit from another country who haven't utilized their assigned of credit. Now in countries like India, greenhouse emissions is much below the target fixed by Kyoto Protocol. So they have excluded from reduction of greenhouse effect emissions. On the contrary, they are entitled to sell the surplus credit to developed countries. Now, here we will remember that we are underutilizing our greenhouse effect. So we have this edge of selling this surplus. Whatever we have in surplus, we can try to sell this to developed countries also, right? So that particular can be traded. So one carbon credit equals to 1 ton of carbon dioxide. Remember that. A developing nation such as India turns out to be seller of such credits, which eventually provide them with monetary gains. And carbon credits are traded by various exchanges across the world. Multi-Commodity Exchange of India launches futures tradings in carbon credit in 2009. So that we will remember, right? Here, a system to utilize greenhouse emissions overseas. We have joint implementation is there. Advanced country, again, we can do it in terms of technology, finance, right? And if we wish to give it to any of the developed country, we can try to give that also, right? Similarly, carbon footprint is the total set of greenhouse effect emissions that are being caused by the organization or event or product. And simplicity of reporting, it is often expressed in terms of carbon dioxide or equivalent to greenhouse effect gases emissions, right? So here, in carbon credit, just remember it's a kind of a wallet, how much you are being using. And similarly, all the countries are being given certain amount of credit, and they can either underutilize it, or if they want, if they are doing more of greenhouse emissions, then they have to buy it from the other countries, right? So one carbon credit equals to 1 ton of carbon dioxide. By this, we will just take a small break before we proceed to other Paris Agreement is there and other topics. So it's 6:56. We'll just take a small break of 5-7 minutes and we will be back. You can keep logged in. After 5 minutes, we will be back. Okay. I hope we all are back. Shall we start? Everyone is back? Yes, no would be helpful.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Others? Are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Kyoto Protocol, we just discussed, right? We'll remember Japan, 1997, and specifically your it came in force was 2005, February, right? And there are 6 greenhouse gases which was listed in Annexure A. First was, please write it down, carbon dioxide, CO2. Second, greenhouse gas was methane, CH4, nitrous oxide, N2O, hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs, perfluorocarbons. Yesterday we had this question, and sulfur hexafluoride. Sorry for the mispronunciation. I am not from this science background, right? So this particular 6 gases, I repeat, carbon dioxide, methane, uh, nitrous oxide, N2O, hydrofluorocarbons, perfluorocarbons, and sulfur hexafluoride, right? These were specifically the 6 type of greenhouse gases which were being listed in Annexure A in this particular context. And however, we had talked regarding the Kyoto Protocol, but nowhere it was being mentioned that it is legally binding, right? Even if you don't do it, was there was no legally it was not binding. And specifically the countries who were not uh, participated in particular thing was Canada, Indora, the United States of America, and South Sudan. So again, these were the member countries who had not participated in Kyoto Protocol. uh, Moving ahead to carbon credits, right? So carbon credit we had talked upon, certain amount of carbon emissions which are being and which can be traded, right? So carbon footprint, 1 credit, 1 ton of CO2. Again, as we said, it can be credited, it can be particularly traded, right? So we call it carbon cap trade program and carbon offsetting, wherein a country who have surplus in it can be trading it for money as such. Okay, next in line, which we'll discuss, is International Solar Alliance. Now, International Solar Alliance, ISA, is an action-oriented, member-driven collaborative platform which talks upon solar energy technologies. And India has been one of the pioneer in all these solar implementation. The basic motive here is energy access, ensure energy security, and drive the energy transition. This was a joint effort by India and France to mobilize efforts for climate change through deployment of solar energy solution, right? So India and France is what we will remember in International Solar Alliance. And these two leaders came together on 21st Conference of Parties, COP, 2021 Conference of Parties to United Nations Conference, uh, Convention of Climate Change, which held in 2015. It was being proposed. Now, again, coalition of solar resource rich countries lying fully or partially between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn to specifically address the energy needs. And the Paris Agreement establishes ISA dedicated to promotion of solar energy. So as the name says for itself, we are focusing on use of solar energy because of the increase in the global demand, and there's a bulk purchase. Even if you come anytime near Ahmedabad, Dwarka, and the Somnath belt, you'll find this entire beautiful solar alliance being done, windmills are being. So we are talking about more on eco-friendly climate change again as an issue. We are been focusing on this particular thing. Now again, our Honorable Prime Minister have been promoting the use of solar power again, ensuring it is cheap and improvised solar technology. And I remember initially it was being given at a very subsidized rate again, to make sure that people use it judicially, right? Increasing the percentage of solar energy in countries, making sure that it is backable solar projects. Even if you see nowadays in government offices also, solar panels installations are majorly seen, right? So the main vision of this particular program was, let us together make the sun bright. Mission is every home, no matter how far, will have a light at home. Headquarters India and France have jointly found that, and the headquarters is in India with interim secretariat at Gurugram. So you'll remember, headquarter in India is at Gurugram, and total we are having 106 countries who have signed this International Solar Alliance, and 86 have signed and ratified this. All member states of United States are eligible to join this particular International Solar Alliance. United Nations General Assembly has granted observer status for this particular project, and it has seen as a well-defined operation. So solar energy we are focusing jointly. It has been done by India and France. Headquarters is at Gurugram. Total we are having 106. Currently we are having 86 at present. And here we are focusing on more eco-friendly and substantial use of solar energy, and making sure that each and every home has light and access towards it, right? ISA also seeks for cost-effective transformation solar energy solution, low carbon growth. Again, before this slide, we were talking about Kyoto Protocol, wherein we were talking about how we can make it eco-friendly, greenhouse emissions that were there. So least developed nations and also categorized as small island developing states. The objective here is to include global deployment of 1,000 gigahertz of solar energy capacity into solar energy by 2030. Again, focuses on development of technology, economic resources, development, and solar technology and innovation. Still, I feel solar energy, maximum of the products are being imported, such as those panels and all. But again, if cost-effective and eco-friendly method, if we can have of generating electricity, that can be useful. Okay, the 4 priority areas of this program was analytics and advocacy, capacity building, pragmatics, support, readiness, and enabling activities. Solar initiatives which we have took in India is first green hydrogen mobility project, National Thermal Power Corporation India, and NTPC Renewable Energy Limited, that was being signed an MOU with Union Territory of Ladakh for country's first green hydrogen mobility project, producing hydroelectrolysis of water using renewable energy, solar and wind, and have a lower carbon footprint. So this is few of the initiative which the Indian government has taken. Subsequently, we have seen National Solar Mission. Again, it is a part of plan for climate change. India is one of the global leader in this particular solar energy, right? And we have INDC, which is again focusing on 100 gigawatts grid connected solar power plant by the year 2020, right? Nationally determined contributions to achieve total of 40% of cumulative. Now again, these percentage may not be that important, but at least what is this particular initiative which was being taken by government, when it was being executed, who was the the countries, India, France, have come together. So basic, you need to know what is the basic mission, what they want to do, right? Similarly, we have National Solar Mission, which was launched in 2010. Again, initial target was 20 gigawatt solar power by 2022, and then it got upscaled to 100 gigawatts in early 2015. And this an additional 58.31 gigawatt of solar power capacity under installation and tendering process. This particular process, mission, National Solar Mission, we have seen in three phases: phase 1, 2, and 3. One started from 2012 to 13, 13 to 17, 17 to 22. Again, the main focus was installation of these solar panels, right? Uh, so this is in a nutshell. I guess few things which you'll remember is, again, use of solar energy. India, France coming together. 106 countries have signed this particular thing, and now 86 are there currently. And post to it, we are planning for having this particular use of major objective is 1,000 gigawatts of solar energy by 2030. So remember, Sustainable Development Goal SDGs 2030, International Solar Alliance 2030. Both of the goals is till 2030, right? Any of the recent schemes which have been launched, you can remember that, right? Any of the recent news which may be there. Next in line we have is Environment Protection Act 1986. Again, as the name suggests, here we are trying to protect and improve our environment. This particularly focuses on the central government to establish the various kinds of authorities and mandate for preventing environmental pollution. One of the most comprehensive legislation, again, United Nations Conference on Human Environment held in Stockholm in June 1972, which in India participated and asked to take appropriate step in human environment, right? So Stockholm Conference, we can remember. Environment Protection Act 1986, remember the year. Under this article of 253 of the Constitution, it gives to give effect to international agreements signed by the country. Again, it was enacted in 1986 on the backdrop of Bhopal gas tragedy. Just now before the class, when we commenced the class, we had discussed regarding the various kinds of man-made disaster, wherein we are talked upon Bhopal gas tragedy which happened. So again, it was some of the backdrop which we have faced. Against that, this Environment Protection Act came into picture. Here we are stating the various part of this act, such as Article 253, talking upon enactment of legislation for giving effect of international agreements. Article 48A can talk upon Constitution specify that the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment to safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. I request other participants to please keep their mic on mute. Right? So there are a certain articles and sub-articles which you can't remember, but basic just have the idea, right? We have all major industrial and infrastructure activities which we are catering into both at central, at the state level, to protect our environment related all the laws, right? Next up in line we have is Paris Agreement. Now, Paris Agreement and Kyoto Protocol is something, one question comes from this topic, right? I repeat, Sustainable Development Goal, Kyoto Protocol, disaster, say there might be one or two questions. Then we have pollution, say expected one question, maybe there in and out, and Paris Agreement. Now, Paris Agreement, again, if we talk upon, there were 196 signatories that took effort from 2020. Now, this agreement aims to keep the global temperature rise in century below 2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial effect. By 2030 emissions, they expected parties to aim reach a global peak of greenhouse gas emissions as soon as possible and achieve zero net emissions on the second half of the century, right? And in 2018, there was a review mechanism being done, which we are talked upon how much we are able to cut down our these emissions, right? So here you can see a timeline and objectives of 2015 Paris Agreement. So Paris Agreement here, if you can see from here, Paris Agreement uh, took from here, we are trying to make sure that the global temperature is something which is below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, and which was approved by 195 countries plus the European Unions. 2016 Paris agreements came into force with sufficient number of countries rectifying this deal. 2017, we have Mr. Donald Trump announces US that they are withdrawing from Paris Agreement Accord. 2018, signatories make their first assessment. So here we have seen 2018 May first review assessment was being done. 2020, developed countries provides funds to help developing countries shift to cleaner energy sources. 2023, signatories make first public report of their progress. 2025, signatories set more tougher rules for cutting the emissions. So Paris Agreement started from 2015 until 2025. What is the various update and timeline that has been seen? We can see in a nutshell through this image, right? Again, main objective, combat the climate change. All these agreement here, they are focusing on how we can combat climate change, how we can make sure that the greenhouse emissions can be reduced. We can make sure that the global temperature can be controlled, right? So that is the main aim of Paris Climate Agreement. Fossil fuels must be reduced to their total eradication. Zero fossil fuels intended to replace through renewable, alternative, or green and clean energy. Just before this topic, as we discussed, solar energy, right? So we are focusing on more clean environment in this particular manner, right? Again, COP20, CMP, we are having a baseline for in 1850, and here we are focusing on, we'll try to make sure to limit the global temperature increase by 2030. Now again, here also, as I repeat, sustainable development goal to be achieved by 2030, Kyoto Protocol 2030, Paris Agreement, we are expecting this till 2030 to make sure that the global temperature is reduced to 2 degrees Celsius, right? Other than that, this we have already discussed. So before that, we had Kyoto Protocol. Again, this is known as the bottom-up approach, right? Again, which you can remember. Each country must determine their plan and regularly report the contribution that it undertakes to mitigate the global warming, right? How we can reduce the global warming as such. Holding the increase in the total average temperature below 2 degrees Celsius. Fostering climate resilience and low greenhouse gas emissions. We just mentioned the various gases, right? Which can be a source of pollutant to the environment. In a matter that they do not threaten the food production. Finance flow consistent through lower greenhouse emissions and climate resilient development. And the Paris deal is the world's first comprehensive climate agreement which came into picture, right? Again, it gives a climate change attempts, tries to find the the divide between the developed and developing nations. Similarly, as we say, we have seen in Millennial Development Goal, it was only focusing on developed nation, but then came is Sustainable Development Goal, which focused on all the type of countries. Now here also they are saying that this the various kind of bifurcation which we kept having, that developing nations are having more of greenhouse effect, or either developed nations are focusing on more on this. So they have tried to come together, 195 nations, they have come together to make sure that the global temperature is maintained to 2 degrees Celsius. Okay. Let's see a few of the questions. Okay, the first one, which you can see on the screen, following are the two sets of items. Set 1, which list the different kinds of waste, while set 2 indicates the method of the disposal. We have to match the two of the set which is given below and make the code for the same thing. Set 1, we have different types of waste, and set 2, we have different methods of disposal. I would like you to please give a try, attempt this. Everyone, please give it a try. Keep a notebook handy with you. Option number 2, option number 3. Okay, no problem. Others? Give it a try, it's okay. We'll try to understand, but just give it a try. What according to you is right? Two and 3 we have. Anyone else has any different answer? Please give it a try. Dry waste, wet waste, toxic waste, and soiled waste. Two and 3. Any other answer? Any option which are very sure that it will be right? Any of this match the following, which you think that it is absolutely right, which you can back up with? Any of the option which you are sure of? Any option which you are sure? Can you hear my voice, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Any of the option, any of the match the following, like yesterday how we have tried. Any option which you are sure, like A ka answer first ही होगा, या A would match with best with 4. Any option which you are very sure here?
Dry waste can be recycled.
Dry waste can be recycled. Beautiful. I am very sure for this first option, which is dry waste can be recycled. Now, I am just using elimination method. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. First का fourth जो option है वो third में ही है. I am not having anything other than that. So somewhere or the other, I'll now try to match the other thing. Can wet waste be decomposed? Imagine, can it be done? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. If you remember, in water pollution, we had used this word called composting, right? Similarly, toxic waste, second option, burying in the landfills. Yes, that can be done. When we were talking about the e-waste or any kind of toxic, we can do that. Fourth is soiled waste. Soiled waste, we can drop them in corporation bins, the municipality bins. That is possible. Now, again, with a simple elimination. Be sure of one thing. If not, if you may be unsure about one and maybe very sure about the next, you are sure regarding the two ways. Now again, toxic waste, somewhere or the other, bury can be a good option for it. So I here can be sure regarding Sika second option. Now Sika second is also the third only. So if anyway, if I'm not really sure about all the four answers being correct, I'm really sure short regarding one or two, I can land up being it a right answer also. Good. The answer is third one. Whoever gave it, very good. That is the right answer. Let's see towards the next one. The purposes underlining the renewable energy education programs are, I repeat, you'll read the question twice. The purposes underlying the renewable energy education programs are corrective and predictive, preventive and ameliorative, diagnostic and evaluative, educative and investigative. Give it a try. Two, preventive and ameliorative. Okay. Other, renewable energy education program. One answer I got is two. Yes. Others,
4, ma'am. 4.
four. Educative,
Four.
four. Educative. Okay. Anyone else? Any other different answer? Ameliorative here means trying to make it better or improvising it. See, preventive nahi hoga because yahan we are focusing on renewable energy ka more use. We are trying to use it more, right? So either it can be corrective and predictive, but somewhere or the other, I feel educative. We are trying to educate people at this stage of using more of renewable energy. So here the answer would be educative and investigative. Good. See, we are not trying to diagnose the problem. We already have a solution, that is renewable energy. I request once you answer, please unmute yourself. Okay, four. Okay, you are answering here also. I'll request if you can unmute and say, it will be easy for me. Otherwise, I'll be flipping screens. Okay, not worry. Okay, preventive, we are not trying to prevent it. It's a corrective, definitely that can be there. Diagnostic, we are not trying to diagnose a problem or anything. So here, educative and investigative, that how much we are trying, how much we are using it as such. Okay, next question on your screen, which you can see. In the scheme of life, soil is an essential resource of life as it plays the following role. I repeat the question. In the scheme of life, soil is an essential resource of life as it plays the following role. It is a reservoir of carbon. It is a medium for growth of food, energy for the animal world, provides oxygen to the biotic community, natural reservoir for the huge amount of water. Now again, out of four, any three answers are right, as we have the various options. Try to find the right answer here.
Option 4.
Option 4. A, B, and
Option
D.
3.
Okay, option 3 and option 4. Okay,
Option 3.
option 3. Others? 3 and 4. We are having two answers.
Option
Yes,
3.
3. Okay,
3, ma'am.
3. Okay,
4, ma'am.
3 and 4. Okay. Anyone would like to give me a reasoning over here? Why we are saying it? Which option are you very sure of? The option A, B, C, D. Which one are you really sure regarding soil? Which option? Sorry, C,
B.
B,
B.
B
B.
option. Okay, in 3 and 4, we have narrowed
B
down
and
in
C.
3 and 4.
B and C.
B, okay. See, soil has major portion of carbon reservoir. Okay, maximum amount of carbon is being formed in soil. So here our option would be option number 4, A, B, D, right? Oxygen nahi hai, it does not provide oxygen to biotic community. Other than that, yes, it is a medium for growth of food and energy. We are sure regarding B. Again, natural reservoir for huge amount of water. Yes, soil may you can understand it by moisture. So we are having B and D. So one thing, remember, write it down also if you want. Soil is a major carbon reservoir. Okay. Next up, so answer is 4 is right. Next is, one of the following has positive human influence on the environment: conservation, pollution, overpopulation, deforestation. I repeat, positive human influence on the environment.
Conservation.
Conservation. Okay. Others?
Conservation.
Conservation. Very good.
Option 1.
Option 1. Perfect. So conservation is the right answer. Pollution, again, a negative term. Overpopulation, negative. Deforestation is again a negative term. Here, positive impact is conservation, wherein we are trying to make sure that we are trying to conserve this our natural resources. Okay, let's move on to the next question. The environment assertion is being given. The environmental impact of soil erosion can be best be mitigated by removing vegetative cover only from specific site on which the construction is to take place. Reasoning: the environmental impact of soil erosion can also be mitigated by distributing the vegetation in adjacent area as little as possible. Reread the question and go through the answers.
Option 1, ma'am.
Option 1, okay. We have option 1 in the house. Anyone else? Any other answer?
Option 1.
Option 1. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Anyone else? Any other answer? People who are writing in comment boxes, a humble request, please unmute yourself and answer. Okay, let's see the assertion. The environmental impact of soil erosion can be best be mitigated, that is reduced, by removing the vegetative cover only from specific site to which the construction is to take place. Okay, that is right. Okay, I agree, A is right. The environmental impact of soil erosion can also be mitigated by distributing the vegetation in adjacent areas as little as possible. That is also right. But somewhere or the other, as you can see, that again, they are just focusing. Now here only they are said specific site, and here they are saying as little as possible. So I feel this is something which is contradictory. So here the answer would be Both A and R are true, but R is not the right explanation. Now here they have just talked about a specific site, but here they are saying adjust in areas as little as possible. So somewhere or the other, if we are covering the maximum region, maybe the soil erosion can be reduced. I hope you're able to get it. Yes? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. And there's a keyword is the only in the
Yeah.
test.
Only as little as possible. So we'll try to differentiate. Maximum it is, yes, definitely that is there. Or optimum it is writing. Wherever possible, that would be a right answer. Okay. Next up we have is assertion is given as hydropower is an exhaustible energy resource. Reasoning is the power of falling water could neither diminish or get exhausted. What do you think? Read it twice, give it a shot, and understand it.
Option 4, ma'am.
Yes. Answer?
Two.
Answer 2. Okay. Others, give it a shot. I'm waiting. Any other answer? Hydropower.
3, ma'am.
3. A is true, but B is false. Okay.
3. 3, ma'am.
We have 2 and 3 in the house. 2 options. Others, please. We'll go with equal consensus.
Well, I guess it's a 4, ma'am. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation.
Okay. Others?
Option 1, ma'am.
Option 1. A and R are false. Both are false. Perfect. We have now option 1, 2, and 4.
Option 1, ma'am.
1. Do you all agree hydropower is an exhaustible energy resource? What does the majority say?
Yes, as long as water is there, there would be a hydropower. If
There- Mhm.
water is finished, then the hydropower will not be there.
Okay. Now, this is right. Everyone agrees. Hydropower, again, kind of a renewable energy. It is not, it is an exhaustible energy resource. Next, the falling of water would neither diminish nor get exhausted. The falling of water would neither diminish nor get exhausted. We just now studied it is exhaustible energy, means it's not getting exhausted, right? So here, and definitely it cannot be diminished. If it is a falling water and we are generating electricity, it cannot be diminished. So here, the right answer would be option number B. A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. The first one, I guess, the first student, the first participant who have given the answer, that is absolutely right. It is a renewable energy, exhaustible energy. Definitely, it cannot get exhausted, and the falling of water can never diminish as such. The next question in line is, which among the following industry consumes the maximum water in India? Maximum water in India. Which industry? Engineering, paper, pulp, textile, Thermal power plant.
Option 3.
Textiles. Okay.
4.
Thermal
Option is
power,
4.
power plants. 4. Okay, 4. Any other
Option
option?
4, ma'am.
Option 4.
Paper.
Thermal power plants. Okay.
The second option.
Second, paper and pulp. Okay. We have 2, 3, and 4.
Option 4.
P, I guess, textiles.
Textiles. Okay, the right answer here is, which is given by maximum, thermal power plants exhaust the maximum water in India. When we are talking about industries, yesterday we have seen for water pollution, the answer was sewage. Human activities से anthropological activities से जितना हो रहा है वो sewage था. Industries में we will remember thermal power plants. Okay. Next in line we have hails damage the standing crop. In India, hails occur only during winter season.
Ma'am, sorry for the disturbance.
Yes.
Ma'am, can I get the answer of the previous question?
Ma'am, it is thermal power plants.
No, before that one. Before that one. This one.
Hydropower, this. Both A and R are right, and R is the correct explanation.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Water, yes, it's non-exhaustible. So we'll stick with that. Okay. Hails damage the standing crop. In India, hails occur only during winter season.
Third one, ma'am.
Option 3, ma'am.
Option 3.
Yes, ma'am. Option 3.
Option 2, ma'am.
3.
Option 2, option 3. Okay, others?
2.
2.
Option 3, ma'am.
Option
Option
3.
three.
Maximum having this. Okay.
Option 3.
Option 3. Perfect. Option 3 is the right answer. A is true, but R is false. Hailstorm maximum you will hear either in summer or it is during spring. It is never in winter season. See, even if you have not heard the question, my humble request to everyone is please solve previous year question. Once you have completed the entire syllabus with this crash course, I guess maximum you will be able to cover up. Hail is something which we have not even discussed in our this particular segment. 4 hours of session which we have not discussed. So once you are looking into the question paper, you can understand, okay, what is hail? What is, okay, here I will remember it happens in spring or it happens only in summer. So while you go through the various questions, you will try to understand, okay, the different perspective can be there. Okay. Next, consider the following statements. Millennial Development Goals were to be achieved by 2015. Sustainable Development Goals will guide United Nations Development Program policy until 2035. Sustainable Development Goals come into effect on January 2016. Sorry, here there is one printing mistake. B may it is 2030, not 2035. It is 2030. My bad.
Answer A.
Answer A.
Option 1.
A
Option-
and B only.
Option 1.
Option 1. It came in effect. Sorry, it will be 2035. Yes. Tell me.
Option 3.
Option 3, A and C is correct, everyone. Forget, sorry, it's not 2030, it is 35 only. Option C, third one is the right answer. Millennial Development Goals were to be achieved by 2015 and 2016. We had sustainable development goal, and option B would not be a right answer because it has to be 2030, right? Whenever we are talking about sustainable development goal, it will be 2030. It is right, written right. Okay. I hope you all have got that. Year wise, they have played millennial development goal.
Yes, ma'am. Since
Yes,
you were
ma'am. Yes,
telling,
ma'am.
since
Yes,
you were
yes.
telling, ma'am,
I just saw this, so I
yeah,
thought,
yeah.
yeah,
That is why the
my
answer
bad.
we told the other way.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Okay, next in line, we have identify the correct sequence of energy sources in terms of their heat of combustion in increasing order. Methane, natural fats and oil, dry wood, green wood. Increasing order. Second option. Okay.
Option 2.
2. Okay. See, one way here you can understand maximum time that logic works. D is a common answer. 2, 3, 4, right? D is a common answer somewhere. D is somewhere it is right. Now, second option which you are sure is dry wood. Now, dry wood, even if we use our common sense, again, it is when we talk about the heat combustion, it is higher, right? Compared to natural fats or natural oil when we do. So, somewhere D and C, I am sure. Then I have an option of methane and natural oil. So here the correct answer is option number second, DCBA, the reverse order. Green wood, dry wood, natural fats and oil, and then methane. Okay. Let's proceed. Identify the correct sequence of increasing the order of carbon content per unit mass of the following reservoirs of carbon in terrestrial environment: plants, peat, soil, organic matter, and fossil fuels. Reread the question. Can anyone tell me what is peat? Have you heard this word before? What will be the right answer?
Yes, ma'am. It is type of a soil material, like.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What will be the right answer? Give it a try.
1, ma'am.
Option number 1. Okay. B, A, C, D. Okay. Anyone else?
Ma'am, 3, ma'am.
3. Okay. B.
Ma'am, option 3.
Option 3. Okay. Taken. Others? I have option 1 and option 3 with me. 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Option 3.
Option 3. The right answer is option number uh, B, followed by A, plants. Then it is soil, organic matter, and last is fossil fuels. So option A is the right one. The first option is right. Next question. At present in India, the total installed renewable power capacity is accounted by solar power, wind power, hydropower, urban and industrial waste of to energy, biomass, and geothermal. Total installed renewable power capacity.
1.
First option, okay. Others? Solar power, just now we read, yes. Wind power we have. Hydropower, yes. Urban and industrial waste to energy conversion, we do have that recycle part. And even biomass power is also there. So option number 3 would be the right answer. Geothermal power plants, we don't have that much good capacity in India right now. Next question, the potential of geothermal power in India is approximately. The potential of geothermal power in India is approximately
3.
20 gigawatts. Okay. Remember, this is 10 gigawatts. So if I try to convert this, it will be 10,000 megawatts, right? Geothermal power, jahan bhi aap likh rahe ho, mention this 10 gigawatts, or if you are converting in megawatts, it will be 10,000. Okay, quickly we'll do the next one. Which of these pairs are correctly matched? Minamata convention, mercury, Stockholm Convention, persistent organic pollutant, and Basel Convention. Minamata Convention, mercury, Stockholm Convention, persistent organic pollutant, and Basel Convention.
Ma'am, A.
A, correct. A is the right answer. A and B are the right answer, right pair for the same thing. Okay. Next in line, we have, with reference to oil spills, consider the following statement. With reference to oil spill, consider the following statement. They make the water deficient in oxygen. They can cause algal blooms. Which of the given statement is correct? Oil spillage. Oil spillage.
Option B, ma'am.
B. Algal blooms.
Ma'am, C, ma'am.
Both A and 2. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay. Any other answer?
One deficient in oxygen correct ಅಷ್ಟೇ. They can cause algal ಹೆಂಗ್ bloom ಹಂಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ.
Answer is 3, ma'am.
Answer 3, both A and B. 1 and 2. Okay. Any other answer?
B, ma'am.
C, both A and 2. Okay.
Only one is
Both. Okay. The answer is 1, only 1, right? So it can make
algal ಹೆಂಗ್ bloom ಆಗುತ್ತೆ oil spill
decision. I request the other participants to keep them on mute. See, oil spillage agar hua, the water would be contaminated, right? Having algal blooms would be difficult. So first is definitely the immediate effect is water deficient in oxygen. That would be the immediate effect. Next is international drinking water supply sanitation decade was observed between 1991, 2000, 1981, 1990, 1971, 1980, 1965, and 1975. Anyone would like to give it a try?
Ma'am, D, ma'am.
D, okay. Please note it down. International Drinking Water Supply and Sanitation Decade. The right answer is
Option B, ma'am.
1981 to 1990. Right? So that was the first water decade designated by United States to bring attention and support for clean water and sanitation worldwide. Okay, before we wind it up, let's take one more question. The two major processes involved in carbon cycle is deposition and erosion, evaporation, transpiration, photosynthesis, respiration, fixation, and denitrification.
Photosynthesis and respiration.
Ma'am, photosynthesis and respiration.
Perfect. Photosynthesis and respiration. Next line, we have three questions. Occurrence of natural hazards is affected by land use changes, drainage and construction, ozone depletion, climate change. Natural hazards. Any of the three answers are right.
Number one.
Number one. Okay. A, C, and D. Okay.
Ma'am, option A. Number 1.
A, number one. Okay.
Ma'am, option 3.
3. Okay.
Yes, it's a 3, I guess.
3. See, natural
Option-
hazards say
Three,
land
three.
say changes definitely, drainage definitely, climate change would be there, ozone depletion. See, all these hazard we read, nowhere we have read ozone depletion as such, only for climate
Ozone-
change. We
Ozone
have
leads
not.
to skin issues, I guess. But that's all.
Yes. So here our right answer would be answer number 3, A, B, and D. No ozone depletion. Okay, let's quickly move to next one. Which of the following pollutant gases is not produced both naturally and as a result of industrial activity? Chlorofluorocarbons, nitrous
Number
oxide,
1.
methane, and carbon dioxide.
Option 1, ma'am.
Option
Option
1.
1.
Beautiful. Perfect.
Yes, ma'am. Option 1.
Only industrial activities. Last, among of the following fuels of energy, which is the most environment friendly? Ethanol, biogas, CNG, and hydrogen.
Hydrogen, ma'am.
Hydrogen.
Number 4, ma'am.
Hydrogen. Perfect. Great. I'm very happy. Okay. By this, we'll wind it up today's session. Okay. I tried my best to cover up the major portions which is there in the syllabus. I hope it is helpful for you all. My humble request is please complete the syllabus as soon as possible and start working with the questions, right? As many questions you will practice, you will be having hands-on training. Just in case, as we just read, we have not studied about carbon cycle, say for example. Now read it. Basic knowledge, what is carbon cycle, what is the major gases which is there. So next time, whenever one question comes from this particular topic, it is easier for you to attempt that. Okay. I hope with this, we will just wind it up. Anyone has any questions? And we are meeting tomorrow, same time, 6 o'clock. We will be focusing on education policy. Okay.
Okay.